Watercolors have always been one of my biggest art fears ever since I first started getting into art, and ever since the first time I tried watercolors. I've always been more team acrylic or gouache paint because I feel like watercolors are so much more unpredictable and just a lot harder to control in comparison to these other painting mediums. And I believed this up until Woomer was kind enough to send me their travel watercolor palette, and then I realized that watercolors aren't actually so scary after all. And not only did I like the outcome, but I also enjoyed the process. I came out with a video about a month ago where I painted this tomato plant. If you want to see me review these watercolors, you can go watch that video. But I enjoyed that painting so much that I actually ended up doing 2 more, which is what you're going to see in this video. And I'm going to try not to repeat myself. If you want to hear my thoughts about painting and watercolors and how exactly I make these paintings, go watch that video instead, because otherwise I feel like my videos just get too repetitive. I don't really want to repeat the same thing in every video. And if you've seen any other of my painting videos, I feel like you've probably heard me talk about how watercolors have always been so scary to me, and I've always avoided it. Never really enjoyed using watercolors, so none of this is new. First, you can see me paint these blueberries. Like my tomato plant, I did actually use a Pinterest reference. On the picture that I used, it says @muiri_. So here's the Instagram account that I found. I'm quite confident this is the artist that made this piece. And like I said in the other video, the reason why I'm using a watercolor, or I don't know if it's watercolor, but the reason why I'm using an art reference instead of an actual plant reference is because I'm more studying the watercolor style rather than realism. This isn't supposed to look like a realistic plant. That's not at all why I'm doing this. I'm more trying to figure out how I can use this medium to my advantage. So yeah, I feel like plants and flowers and vegetables and stuff like that I just feel like it looks really good with watercolors. I feel like whenever I see people use watercolors, it's mainly what they do. That's what I see a lot of, at least. But which is why I wanted to try it. In the reference picture, it actually looks like she used more markers and pencils rather than watercolors, but the style itself looks very watercolor to me. It looks very painterly, but specifically watercolor paint, which is why I used it as a reference. This was recorded back in my London apartment. This was around the same time period as the tomatoes, because again, I enjoyed the tomatoes so much that I ended up just making the blueberries right after. But that review video ended up being far too long, so I ended up just using whatever first paintings I used in the video, plus the tomato painting for that video, and then I saved the blueberry section for this video because I actually did a third plant, which you will also see in this video. And since there are 2 pages side by side, I thought it just made sense to have them in the same video. I won't talk too much about the process because, again, it is the exact same, pretty much, I think. Yeah, it's pretty much the same process as with the tomato plant. You know, I went in with the base colors first. I went in and actually rendered with a tiny brush. I did black outlines because I felt like outlines made the plant pop, which is really unlike me. I'm not much of an outline type of girl, you know? And when I do use outlines, I like them being very soft. So with all my Copic portraits, for example, I always used a sepia or brown liner. And then with my digital art, I'll have very soft line art, if any line art. I'm definitely not a black line art kind of person. But in this case, I actually think it works. I think it helped make these little paintings pop so much more. So I'm very glad that I tried that out, because that was a very scary choice. And yeah, after that, I went in with a Posca pen for some details and some little paint splatters, and yeah, that's it. And I think the blueberry one is probably my favorite painting that I made out of these 3. Oh no, actually I'm lying. I don't know if I can pick between the tomato and the blueberry, but maybe the tomato? Oh, I don't know. That's actually a tough one. Let me know which one you guys like the most out of these 3 paintings. I know you haven't seen the third one yet, but I might be starting on this portion a little early. Who am I kidding? I'm definitely starting on it too early. But after the blueberries, I decided to draw oranges, because again, I'm trying to stay in theme for the little vegetable or fruit plant series. So same process as always, but this is my least favorite one, and I think the reason why is because it just feels like there's too much empty space on the page around the orange. I think I should have drawn more oranges kind of scattered around, kind of like the blueberries. The blueberries themselves, the main blueberry plant would have been far too little on the page, but I ended up doing some extra blueberries and like a tiny little extra blueberry plant, and that helped fill out the white on the page a lot more. And I should have done that with the oranges. I think that's why I don't like it the most. But yeah, I've spoken enough about watercolors in the past month, so I'm going to get on to other things. This is a very long video, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fill it up enough with yapping, but I don't know, maybe you guys don't mind watching art videos with just ambience music, you know. Hopefully that's not a problem, because I don't think I'll talk enough to be able to cover this long video. I thought I'd talk a little bit about my current art projects, because I haven't really spoken about that in a hot minute. So at the moment, I am doing some K-pop Demon Hunters fan art. I did love the movie. I saw it a few weeks ago. I feel like I'm a little bit late to the party, because I remember right before I saw the movie, my Instagram, I'm not much on Instagram, but I remember going on Instagram and it would be nothing but K-pop Demon Hunters fan art everywhere. And like every time it came up, I was like, damn, I want to draw that too, but I want to watch the movie first before I do fan art, you know? And then I saw the movie and I was like, oh my god, I want to do fan art right now. So I'm making an actual digital illustration, like a whole one, not just a little sketch or like low effort drawing. It's actually a full illustration, which is why it's taking me so damn long. I have spent over 5 hours on it already, and it's still not done. This is why I don't make full illustrations that often, is they're so time consuming, and half the time I don't feel like I have the time, but I will make the time for this drawing. So yeah, I actually think I will be done with that soon. So it'll either be next week's video or the week after. Of course, by that time, I don't know if anyone is still interested in K-pop Demon Hunters, but it's all I've been thinking about ever since I saw the movie a few weeks ago. Like, absolutely adore the movie. I'm trying to let it go like a decent amount of time before I watch it again. But trust me, I am itching to watch it again. I actually think I will I'm gonna have to put it on and just watch it again soon. I've been telling all my friends to watch it. If you're an artist, watch the movie. There's no excuse for you. And if you're not an artist, still watch the movie, because it's just a damn good movie. Other than that, I've been trying to finish the sketchbook for a while. This is also something I've spoken about in a lot of recent videos. So finishing the sketchbook is kind of like a project in itself. I am almost there. I haven't actually drawn in it at all for like a week now. I've had a very busy week. You know what? I'll get into that later, to be honest. But I am trying to finish the sketchbook, and I'm almost there. And in preparation of finishing the sketchbook, I have already bought my next sketchbook, and I have spent this past week or so like planning the cover. So I did like a little digital like planning of what I want. I did a gouache practice of the cover, and I am now actually working on the cover. And I think that by the time this video comes out, I might even be done with it. And if not, then I'm at least almost done. So again, this will either be next week's video or the week after. But yeah, I thought that just getting the new sketchbook completely ready for like the moment I'm done with this sketchbook will help motivate me to finish the sketchbook faster. So I am working on a sketchbook cover, and I'm super excited to start the new sketchbook. Those are the only projects I'm working on at the moment, but I've really been wanting to make Copic portraits again. I want to do it in my new sketchbook though, which is why I've been trying to finish my old sketchbook, and I want to finish the cover first, and then I want to make a few just Copic portraits in the sketchbook before I leave, because my Copics will have to stay here in Norway when I go back to London to study. Every time I'm away from the markers, I want to use my markers, so I'm gonna make sure that I actually use them this summer before I leave again. Those are my current art projects. To what I've been up to lately, just like nerdy stuff like always. I've started playing Stardew Valley with my boyfriend, which is nice. That Stardew Valley always feels like a fall game to me. I don't know if that's because I like must have played it in fall the first time I ever played it or something, but to me, I don't know, like cozy like farming games just make me think of like fall. I'm actually really in the fall mood, to be honest. I have been for a while now. I'm so ready for fall. I think I'm gonna be making cinnamon rolls tomorrow or today when this video comes out, because I just want fall. So we're playing Stardew Valley. I'm also playing Fall Guys with him. We first started playing this together not too long ago, and I am so terrible at that game. How are people good at Fall Guys? Because it's so hard. And today I actually picked up Infinity Nikki again, so we'll see if I, dabble with that a bit. To movies and stuff, like I said, I've seen K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't actually watch a lot of stuff, so this list is never long. But a few weeks back, I can't remember the last time of updated you guys on what I've been up to lately, therefore I don't know what things to actually add. But I did watch Squid Game Season 3 back when that came out, a month ago? I can't remember. But I saw that like probably a week or two after it released. Even longer before that, before I started posting again for the summer, I had seen Frieren, which is like the first anime I've actually seen in so long. But that's something I watched with my boyfriend, which is why I watched it, because I never watch things alone. Everything I mention, anytime I've watched something, I've either seen it like with my partner or with my family, because I just don't watch things alone. I have a tiny list of anime I wouldn't mind watching, but I've gotten, the older I get, the more picky I am with the things I consume. And ever since I started reading, it's been harder for me to get into like movies or shows or anime, because I just feel like the stories I read in my books are just so much better than anything I consume like otherwise. So it's hard to go back. Speaking of books, I have not really been reading either. It sucks. I feel like my main hobbies are obviously art, reading, and games, with a few other hobbies sprinkled in there, but those are my main three. But I never have time for all three simultaneously, so I kind of have to pick and choose. And I am in a long-distance relationship, so to make time with my partner, we like to play games together, which is why at the moment I feel like I am focusing completely on art and games. I try to read before I go to bed though, but I like I like reading physical books outside when the weather is nice. But we had a few weeks with too nice weather, like it was too hot here in Norway. And now the weather is ass, so yippee! So what I am reading is Before They Were Hanged, which is the second book in I can't remember what the series is called, but it's a Joe Abercrombie book. It's a trilogy, and yeah, I am enjoying it. I'm reading that on my Kindle every night before I go to bed. But obviously, since I only read a few pages before I go to bed, I'm not making a lot of progress. I have been working on this book for at least a month, probably over a month. And then the physical book I'm working on is King of Scars by, I can't remember her name. Leigh Bardugo, that's her name. I tried reading that when it was nice out, but like before it got too hot. I tried to read a little bit, or maybe in the evening when it's cooled down a bit, but haven't read a lot. Definitely under 100 pages, so I am hoping to finish both those two books in the duology before I leave, because I'd rather not have to bring the physical books with me. But we'll see how that goes. I do want to read more, but I haven't been like itching to read the same way I've been itching to just draw or like play video games with my partner. So those are the things that I have been up to lately. I did spend the day at the vet's office yesterday though, because our dog was having some complications, but she is okay. She's on antibiotics, and she seems herself again today. She will be going back for a checkup next weekend, so everything will be good. I've been really tired and unmotivated this week. I don't know if anyone else relates to this. I don't think I've actually ever heard that anyone else is like this. My energy levels like fully depend on the weather. Between 2 and 3 weeks, maybe 2, I can't remember. We've had a few weeks of just too hot weather. And if you're from pretty much anywhere else, you're not going to understand that that's too hot. But Norwegian infrastructure, like this country does not get that hot, which is why our houses, our buildings are not built for the heat. We don't have air conditioning anywhere, and our houses are built to trap the heat because our winters are obviously so freaking cold. We wouldn't survive them otherwise. So it was up to like the late 20s, nearly 30 degrees for like 2 weeks straight, like bright sun every day, which was not very, very nice. Apparently there was a fan shortage as well in the country, which makes sense because goddamn it was hot. Of course, if you're from a hot country, it's not going to be the same, but the heat we experienced here, it just is different because, like I said, we can't just escape from the heat inside. In fact, it's actually hotter inside more often than not. Like, our living room was it was torture. Like, especially by the afternoon when the sun had been, like, warming up the house all day. It was unbearable. I would have to, like, go downstairs and escape down to my room. Like, it was unbearable. But yeah, if you're from the UK, you can understand because UK heat is also different. And obviously UK infrastructure, again, is not built for the heat. And I remember the UK did have a heat wave a few years back, and I had never been there at that point. So I kept getting TikToks about it. But like whenever they would speak about like the temperature, I'd be like, well, that's not that bad. What are you guys complaining about? And then like a year or two later, I'm there for myself, and it's not a heat wave. It's normal hot weather. And I'm like, oh my god, it's unbearable here. How did you guys survive the heat wave? Like you just don't understand until you experience it. It is different. But yeah, that is not what I was supposed to be talking about. After those like 2 really hot weeks, it went straight to like cloudy, gray, rainy weather. It's not very hot at all now. And we had that all week. Like it started late last week and it's lasted all this week. And I've noticed such a big difference in my like energy levels and my motivation because I've been like tired and drained. I've been unmotivated. I don't really want to do anything. And it sucks to be so dependent on the weather because when it's nice out and it's bright, I want to do things, you know? I feel energized and motivated and I want to be productive and I want to do things. And the moment that it gets a little rainy and gray and dull and I'm like, I just want to sleep, honestly. Like, I don't want to do anything. But yeah, let me know if anyone else is like that. And it also doesn't help that I think it's the air pressure, maybe, that affects it. I know a few people that are also like this, but I think most people are not like this. But I get headaches a lot from rain and thunderstorms really give me headaches, and I'll get headaches like hours in advance. So I have a friend who has the same problem, and I think my mom is often the same way. But other than that, I haven't actually heard of anyone that's like this. So I don't know. I think it has to do with the pressure, maybe, but I'm not sure. But I will always get a headache from rain, and then if it's a thunderstorm, normally it's a much worse headache. And even if it's not a headache, it's like pressure in my head and like kind of fogginess, you know, brain fog, general just tiredness. So the weather actually it physically affects me, which sucks because like I want to get work done, but like I don't want to get work done, you know. So yeah, manifesting some nicer weather. It sucks that we've had nothing in between. It's been either too hot or it's been too nice or too shitty. Like, can we just not have something in between, please? I don't know if I've spoken for 20 minutes yet, but hopefully I have. Either way, I don't really have anything else to say, and I think I've yapped enough. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.